Hello, welcome to today's video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. My name's Annie and I'm going to be talking to you about my epilepsy. So I did my first video actually on epilepsy in 2015. I was diagnosed in 2012 after years of having the condition without realising, and then I decided to finally open up about it in 2015 and did a video on it. And since then, I mean, wow, the amount of emails, messages and the comments have just been incredible. And do you know what? It's so nice to have a community or, hear, people who get it, because trying to explain it to somebody who doesn't have the condition, as much as people are lovely and they try their best to understand, unless you have this, I don't think you really quite get how hard it is to handle. So I have focal impaired awareness seizures, previously known as complex partial seizures. I'm not sure if I have a combination of that and the simple partial seizures. I don't know, but predominantly it's the focal impaired awareness seizures. They have changed over the years. Of course they have, because why would they stay the same? And I have had to adapt my life to kind of accommodate it, as I'm sure those who have the condition do as well. I had them in the day quite a lot, and then they sort of switched to night. Before I go into that, I just want to obviously, anyone who's new watching this and doesn't know about like my epilepsy and what kind of this sort of epilepsy is. Essentially, focal impaired awareness seizures are seizures where you are conscious, and unless there's something like hand twitching or swallowing lots and to look for it, you can easily miss it. It's almost like it's a bit of a silent evil actually, almost, because unlike grand mal seizures where someone is having a physical fit, these can easily be missed, but they are just as scary, trust me on this. It's like being trapped in your own, it's just like being trapped. And even though it's like up to about 60 seconds, it feels horrible. And the aftermath after is just, it feels so bad afterwards as well. You feel so low afterwards. It's really scary. So essentially there's like this aura of something's about to happen, a rising feeling. This is what I get, a rising feeling. And then I get extreme deja vu. And then after the deja vu, the fear sets in, which is horrible. And like nothing else like any other emotion I experience. And then, it's just like you're trapped. And then sometimes my hand will go, I'll swallow a lot, or I'll just be completely frozen. And they last for about 60 seconds and then it's over. But then I'm left with a migraine, or I feel really low afterwards, and you sort of beat yourself up about why it happened, which isn't nice. So they're the ones that happen in the day. My nocturnal ones are a little bit more complex, because essentially, I don't know if anybody else has the focal impaired awareness seizures in your sleep, but essentially it lands in the light part of your sleep. So it's either just before you wake up or just after you've gone to sleep, in wherever that is, like light patch of your sleep. And normally what happens with mine is they start within a dream. This sounds so weird, honestly. I think I just need to just give up and just realise that they're epilepsy and complex partial seizures. They all sound weird. they all sound strange. So, we're all friends here. So it starts in my dream, and then I get the same rising feeling and all that kind of stuff, and I can feel it happening. And I either wake up slightly, but then I'll swallow a lot, and I know that's how, because it's a bit of a daze, I know that's how I've had one. And I'll often fidget, so I'll try and get comfortable, and I'll be fidgeting from one side to the other. So I'll lean on one side, then turn and go to the other side, and then swallowing a lot. And then often I'll wake up, but because I'm in a daze, I'll then go back to sleep. And in the morning I'll know I've had one, because I'll get a migraine. So mine have switched to the nighttime, although I had my first daytime one in about a year. about a month ago. And because it's sort of been so long, I've sort of forgot how to handle it, which was really hard. And I find, again, don't know if anybody else gets this, I actually asked in a group about it, that when I feel a seizure coming on and it's the daytime, I need a quiet scenario. So for example, if I'm in a coffee shop or there's a busy street or someone's talking at me, it's overwhelming and I can't handle it. It's almost like the deja vu gets so extreme that it makes the seizure worse. It's almost like I have to kind of either look down, look at a blank space, just like close my eyes, anything. It's almost like it's overstimulation, whether the TV's on, anything like that. It's just so overwhelming and it makes the seizure worse for me. I don't know if anybody else feels like that. A couple of people in this group said that they felt the same. It's really bizarre. It's such a, there's no way I can talk about this without feeling a little bit crazy. But I mean, the brain is incredible and awful at the same time. It's just amazing what it can do and how it makes us all feel. But yeah, so my epilepsy has changed a bit, obviously nocturnal. I had an EEG in March because I was getting so many in my sleep, and they did a recording of it for 24 hours. And of course, I didn't have a seizure whilst that was happening, but the neurologist came back and said essentially I had epileptic brainwaves were still being tracked regardless of me having a seizure. So it makes you wonder, like, is what I'm feeling is normal actually normal? Don't fall down that hole. When I did, I was just like, hang on, is this what I'm experiencing actually normal, or is this part of epilepsy? So when I zone, like stare or I zone out, am I actually just staring, zoning out just because sometimes that happens, or is this actually a seizure? Or do you know what I mean? It starts to blow your mind a little bit. But you know, I'm still taking medication. I've been up and down medication. They've tried to switch me and now I'm still on Motrogen. Yeah, and it's just about managing and keeping myself as unstressed as humanly possible, which obviously in this day and age is very difficult, but you do what you do and you adapt to make yourself as comfortable as possible. And I normally find that seizures happen not straight away after being stressed. Stress is my trigger, or is my kryptonite, and I normally get a seizure sort of maybe a week or so after I've been really stressed. So I know that they're kind of, as soon as I've chilled out, it's like, and hi, and it just lands on you. I mean, I've been more active since I was diagnosed. I don't think I've ever been this active in my life. I do triathlons, as you may or may not know. And some people are like, how can you swim when you've got epilepsy? And I'm like, everyone's epilepsy is different. We know ourselves better than anybody else. Trying to explain it to somebody else, I know when I shouldn't train and I don't. Or, races, I always let people know that about my epilepsy. And like I say, I normally get an aura beforehand, so I'm careful with it. I don't go into it just easily. I train with somebody else, etc. And I mean, I feel better for being active. So I mean, swimming for me is like the most beautiful thing ever. I love swimming, and I'm not sat here telling you should go for a swim, because everybody's different, and I'm not saying, and this is a disclaimer, do what works for you. You know yourself better and keep yourself safe. But like things like yoga have been really good, and meditation, and just trying to keep chilled about it. But I'm gonna end it here because my battery's flashing. But I just wanted to say, like, I've still got epilepsy. It's changed. You're not alone. I've loved you all reaching out to me, and I really appreciate your support. Come and follow me on Instagram. I'm at It's Annie Bean. I'm constantly talking about being active, and I did Escape from Alcatraz triathlon, where you jump off the boat and swim back from San Francisco. I'm doing stuff still, because this invisible disability doesn't need to stop us from living a full active life, whatever that looks like for you. So yeah, just a quick update from my 2015 video. I'll be posting a video of actually me having a seizure that I recorded before I was diagnosed, because I couldn't find it and then I found it a few weeks ago, and I feel like it's a great example of what I experience. So I'll be uploading that in a week or so, so make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm not a doctor, I'm just someone who's got epilepsy. So if you've got any questions about doing exercise, etc., speak to a medical professional first before you start doing anything. But yeah, thanks so much. I am back. I am going to do more videos, and I'm going to do more things on epilepsy. So if you've got questions and things that you want me to talk about, drop them in the comments below. Like this video, and you know, if you're just going through your diagnosis, then be sure to share my content with your friends and family. So hopefully I'm explaining the best I possibly can, and it helps you with your journey as well. Stay safe, look after yourselves, and just remember you're not alone in this journey. Bye.